This time on Animal Airport, a diabetic dog arriving after a 24-hour flight from Australia needs its insulin fast. Two roaming raccoon dogs find a temporary home at the Ark. And there's a very bad smell coming from a shipment of nearly 250,000 mealworms.
Bloody stink.
London Heathrow, one of the world's busiest airports. Every year, 500,000 flights arrive and depart, carrying 70 million human passengers and 40 million animals and fish. And while the humans report to passport control, the animals head to the Animal Reception Centre, known as the Ark. The Ark is open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, staffed around the clock by a dedicated team of animal health officers. It's 5 a.m. and Lloyd is coming to the end of his 12-hour night shift. He's out on the tarmac to meet one of the first planes of the day, a long-haul flight from Australia. 20-year-old Lloyd came to the Ark 2 years ago as an apprentice. He impressed the managers with his no-nonsense approach, and now he's a permanent member of staff.
It's 12 animals. I think there's 6 dogs and 6 cats. And because it's like that, they put them on cargo pallets. It's a completely double-deck plane. And it's just massive. It's huge.
The Airbus A380 is the largest passenger jet in the world. It can carry more than 600 people. Somewhere in the belly of this monster are a dozen much-loved pets.
We've been pre-notified that there's a diabetic dog on the flight.
Diabetes affects dogs as well as humans. They have their diet closely monitored and need insulin injections twice a day.
It's all about what food I give it or the medicine that has to be given to the dog. There isn't anyone actually in the hold with them. So hopefully, I'm sure it'll be fine. I get told a lot that livestock should be prioritised as being the more important thing on the aircraft.
Lloyd soon spots the dozen animals. Heathrow baggage handlers are alongside them in the hold. There are more than 1,000 items of luggage, and it all needs to be offloaded. But the pets on board get fast-tracked. They're unloaded swiftly from the larger hold at the front. 1 in 500 dogs is diabetic. Like humans, they're unable to regulate their blood sugar levels. Without regular injections, Polly the Chihuahua cross could die. She's been in her box for 24 hours, and her injection is long overdue.
And this one's the little one that we've all been kind of worried about. This is the little diabetic Chihuahua.
Lloyd must get her back to the Ark as soon as possible to administer the insulin. The Animal Reception Centre regularly deals with exotic animals. It's offered temporary care and accommodation to almost every creature imaginable. But today, there's going to be a first. Matt Ford is a specialist in the transportation of exotics and often uses the Ark as an overnight rest stop for his charges. 2 raccoon dogs have been found roaming the Brecon Beacons. Matt is taking them across the country to a zoo that's offered them shelter.
It's the type of animal that they don't rehome to the public, so if the owner doesn't come forward to claim them, then they have to find a zoo. So on their behalf, we'll contact the zoos and we'll find a decent home for them, which is what we've done.
Raccoon dogs are normally found in East Asia. It's likely their owners here set them loose when they couldn't look after them anymore. Alien species like this one roaming in the wild could have a disastrous effect on British wildlife.
So it was quite lucky that these ones were actually found and caught up, because the last thing we want is for a non-native species that's been kept as a pet to be released into the environment.
Matt.
Hi, Peter.
Good to see
nice to see you.
Raccoon dogs.
Yes, please.
Raccoon dogs bear a remarkable resemblance to their namesake, the raccoon, but they're not actually related. They're similar to dogs with their long teeth and short tails, and like common canines, they're sometimes kept as pets.
Yeah, they were found in the wild, so the assumption is that they were abandoned pets. So, I mean, that's the problem, because the invasive potential for raccoon dogs is quite serious.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be out there. I mean, obviously, it's the welfare issue as well. They were caught, actually, on separate days, one the day before the other. It was in a barn, and they used the other one to effectively track the other one in. So,
Excellent.
and they were very, very pleased to see each other. So it's a male and female, as you know.
Yeah.
Very pleased to see each other and be reunited. So it's a good outcome, but not good that they were out there in the first place at all.
No, I'm glad they're here. It's ideal. They've got a nice home to go to.
Yeah.
There we go. Come on, good boy. Thank you. Dead easy.
The raccoon dogs will spend their night at the Ark before they complete their journey. Lloyd has arrived back with the 12 dogs and cats that have just landed from Australia. First off the truck, Polly, the diabetic Chihuahua cross.
So one of these is diabetic.
Okay, so that one.
So that can go in the...
The Ark's been warned about Polly's diabetes, but not about one of the long-term effects it's had on her.
This is Polly. Is she blind? But she looks like she could be blind as well, so we'll just take a little bit more precaution with her.
Blindness is a common complication of human diabetes, and dog diabetes is no different. 3/4 of dogs lose sight in both eyes within 1 year of being diagnosed.
We've got some measures that we do with blind dogs. What we don't want to do is make any like trip hazards. Don't want to fall over because she can't see where she's going. Just put a fair amount of blankets on the floor. Make sure that she's as comfortable as possible.
The stress of flying can be traumatic for animals, so the Ark staff do what they can to make them comfortable.
They're scared from the flight, obviously you would be, because you're in the cargo hold, you're not entirely sure what's going on.
Now that Polly is comfortably in her kennel, Lloyd must turn his attention to her insulin. But her owner's instructions aren't as clear as they could be.
I think they believe they're talking to a vet.
Too much insulin, and Polly's blood glucose levels could drop dangerously low. Too little, and the insulin won't have any effect. Get it wrong, and either way, she could die.
It does say in the letter that giving her more than a dose is possibly fatal. So, I mean, if I kill the dog, it's going to be the worst night shift ever, won't it?
The Ark deals with more than 200,000 reptiles a year, most of them destined for the pet trade. Normally, these arrive in large shipments containing hundreds of animals. But today, Ross has received one that's flown solo all the way from Los Angeles.
Just going to quickly check on the tortoise that arrived, just check it's OK, obviously. Check the species, what it is supposed to be. So this is obviously primarily someone's pet tortoise. Although it's a pet and there's only sort of maybe 1 or 2 travelling in this box, it still needs the same paperwork. It still requires the same paperwork if it was a shipment of, say, 500 tortoises. There we go. There's a very attractive plastic palm tree.
For this tortoise, pools and palm trees are all part of the LA lifestyle.
Yeah, so you see it seems in good condition. So he's got nice clean eyes. There's no discharge from his nose. Feels like he's reasonable weight. He's really, really, really cold. So, so we might try and put him somewhere gradually slightly warmer because he's far too cold than he should be. It doesn't feel too wet in there. We'll put a bit of newspaper down just to maybe, if it is a bit too damp in there. The bottom of the hold is metal. So usually what they do is they put something between, they're usually just like planks of wood or something like that, just called spreaders, to suspend the animal off the cold metal bottom of the hold. So maybe they haven't put anything like that down at all.
At altitude, aircraft fly in temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius. And though the holds are heated, it's not always enough for cold-blooded reptiles. Ross hopes moving him to a warmer part of the Ark will help him recover. Flying animals around the world isn't cheap, even for an animal as small as a tortoise.
Probably cost them £300–400 to ship that tortoise, probably, so it's a much-loved tortoise.
He leaves the tortoise to warm up before his connecting flight. In the dog wing, Lloyd is looking after the diabetic Chihuahua cross. He's called on Karen, the Ark's resident dog expert, for some help with Polly.
I need to get the dog to eat, so I've just got some jelly off pedigree charm to see if that will help entice her, eat her biscuits. And if she eats, she's going to get her insulin jab.
For Polly's blood sugar to be properly regulated by the insulin, she has to eat first. Fortunately, after spending 24 hours in transit, Polly's hungry. Now she's eaten, Karen and Lloyd can give her the insulin. Being injected can be unpleasant, even for a fully sighted dog, so they do their best to reassure Polly.
Hello, sweetheart. There's a good girl. Did you like your food?
Karen's years of experience pay off.
There you go, sweetie pie. Okay.
What's this?
Thank you.
Just barking at me. After I save your life, you bark at me. We can keep this as a record, so God forbid anything happens when she leaves, we actually have a record of what we've done and who's done it.
It's now just a matter of checking Polly's paperwork. As long as that's in order, she'll be on her way. Ark supervisor Ross is preparing for another guest to depart. The tortoise is warmed up and ready for his onward flight.
So we've just got the tortoise that came in from Los Angeles. He's going off to Edinburgh. He's looking fine. You remember, he was quite cold, so we moved him somewhere to try and slowly warm him up. He seems he's a lot more alert, so we'll gently put him back in there. The swimming pool and the palm tree are looking good.
He might even fancy a dip in his swimming pool.
He's come from Los Angeles. They're probably trying to replicate Los Angeles in a small box for him. There's a big difference between Los Angeles and Edinburgh, so they probably don't want to shock him.
All that's left now is for the tortoise to clear security. Then he can catch his flight to Scotland. After 4 hours on the road, exotic animal transport specialist Matt Ford is arriving with the 2 raccoon dogs, rescued from the Brecon Beacons.
I'm all right, I've got your raccoon dogs for the evening.
And as always, the Ark staff are keen to take a look at any exciting animals passing through their doors.
Face of a raccoon stuck on a dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really unusual.
The facilities can cater for pretty much any type of animal. They're great for a raccoon dog stopover. The raccoon dogs are domesticated, so the staff can get an up-close look at these unusual animals.
They're one of the more friendly guests we drop off to them. Normally it's stuff that they can't go in with or can't go near because it will savage them. But these are a bit different. These are very, very lovely.
Matt Ford will be back in the morning to take the raccoon dogs on the final leg of their journey. One of the staple diets of reptiles, birds and fish is mealworms, a protein-rich snack for zoo residents. But a shortage hit European mealworm supplies, and zoos are looking further afield for their lizard's lunch. This morning, a shipment's come all the way from the Far East, but it hasn't arrived in one piece. Animal Health Officer Lloyd is on the case.
To be honest, I have no idea what I've got. All I know is they're mealworms. As you can see, there's some on the top that have, I think, come loose.
If they're all in the same condition, Lloyd's going to have to repack the entire shipment.
Bloody stink.
Now the container's open, the smell is overpowering. It's more than the normal smell of mealworms. It's the smell of rotting mealworms, and Lloyd has to get to the bottom of it. Animal Health Officer Lloyd is in the stable block and is about to find the source of a stench that's permeating the entire ark. It's coming from a shipment of mealworms.
Let's have a look how bad it is. You can already see it's all tipped over, so it's not going to be pleasant.
The boxes have been poorly packed, some have been crushed, and there are loose mealworms all over the container. In cases like this, it's important to take photographic evidence of any bad packing, so the Ark can issue those responsible with a formal warning.
We're going to go through all the boxes now and just see what's live, and then we're going to take some pictures to see the packaging, so that we can have some proof if the airline or the handlers just ask questions.
With evidence gathered, the search for survivors can start.
Just going to open up the boxes just to see if any of them are live, and then transfer them into these plastic boxes here. It's all dead. There's 99 more boxes. See if we can get one alive. Don't know. It's unlikely. Let's see what happens. It's so poorly packed. I mean, you can see down in the bottom the amount that's escaped from the actual containers they're in, and what the force was to knock them all over has cracked this bottom box so far in that it's more than likely it's crushed most of the mealworms in there.
The first boxes contain no survivors. It's not looking good for the others. But Lloyd must still check the entire shipment. He's only opened a few. It's going to be a very long shift. Every animal is important to the staff at the Ark, but now and again, they get to host one that's very important. Today, Animal Health Officer Kaylee is meeting a star in the making.
Just getting a dog for an owner, come off a Virgin flight, and apparently it is a film dog. So it's a dog that's going to be in an advert or TV commercials, I think. So quite a special dog.
Animal lover Kaylee has wanted to work with animals since she was 7. Her job at the Ark is the fulfillment of her dream.
I'm obsessed with animals. I love them to bits. The dog side is great because you get to sort of play with the dogs and like make sure they're happy and everything. If you do love animals, it is a good job.
Aspiring actor Fred has cleared customs and is about to leave the building.
Fred is a bearded collie, so he's quite a big dog. Hi, Fred.
His new owner's in reception, eagerly waiting to meet Fred for the first time.
We supply animals for film and television, and I've been looking for a double for a dog that we have here in the UK and couldn't find one. And we managed to find Fred on a rescue site in America. He's going to mainly do commercials, but he could land a feature role, who knows.
But VIP Fred nearly didn't make it to the UK.
They said to us that they thought he'd been euthanized, so as the story went on, 3 rescue places got involved and they managed to track Fred down literally days before he was being destroyed, so we've managed to bring him over.
Backstage, Fred's fan club is growing.
So sweet. Time now to reunite him with his owners.
Yeah.
He can't get out the door without being mobbed.
Gonna be a TV star, aren't you?
Fred, who's that?
Fred's owner is thrilled to finally meet him.
There you go.
He is so sweet.
That's it now. Your journey's over. He'll come and live with me as a pet dog for a while, just so we can get to know each other and trust each other. And then I just start training him, and it takes about 4 months to get him ready for filming.
That's a wrap for film star Fred. His car's arrived to take him away, but remember that face. He may be coming soon to a screen near you. In the stable block, Lloyd is still searching for any surviving mealworms.
There's one live one on the top. Well, there's a few actually. Oh, wow.
He needs to separate the living from the dead so they can continue their onward journey.
some live ones in that as well. Yeah.
Thanks to Lloyd's perseverance, at least some of the shipment has been saved. But there's still plenty more to check. The raccoon dogs rescued from the Brecon Beacons have spent the night at the Ark. Supervisor Stewart comes in early to check on them.
Oh, bless them.
He's worked at the Ark for 19 years and still gets excited to see new species.
Never actually seen them before. It's the first time I think we've had them at the Ark. It's definitely one of the reasons I love my job, yeah. See species I haven't seen before.
But Stewart is concerned about the unnatural behaviour these animals are exhibiting. He thinks it's because of a lack of stimulation in their previous enclosure.
These animals would like to use, you know, sky around, dig, looking for food and things like that. So they probably haven't had that opportunity to keep their mind occupied. So instead of keeping your mind occupied, that's what you do.
Matt Ford returns to take the raccoon dogs to their new home at a zoo.
Morning.
If they'd been left wandering around the Brecon Beacons, they may have bred and devastated the local wildlife.
Basically ruin our wildlife, because they'll eat all the small birds, all the rodents, and so all the local wildlife would be vanished in a certain area over a short period of time. Being in the same sort of niche as foxes, badgers, so they'd be competing against our native stuff, and also there's nothing really that's going to take them out. Hi mate, who's your friend? Paul. Hello. Hello mate. Come on. Mate, you go in, she'll follow you. Feel that? Yeah. Go on.
The raccoon dogs are rounded up for their onward journey to their new home. As the sun sets in the livestock area, Lloyd has been knee-deep in the mealworm mess for the last 6 hours. One of the least glamorous jobs he's ever had. It's only now clear just how many mealworms are dead.
So there's about 2,000 in every one container. There's 100 boxes, about 200,000, maybe 120,000 of them have died.
Deputy Manager Tristan comes over to take a look.
You all right? No. Have you smelt inside it?
It does smell a bit. You can smell it all the way over to the front of the building.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's getting the benefit of what you're doing out here.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is the last box. I can't say I'm not pleased.
With the remaining survivors finally on their way, destined to become animal appetizers, all that's left for Lloyd to do is to tidy up.
I stink. Everyone stinks that's been near it. I can't wait to go and shower because it's just awful.
With Lloyd done for the day, he heads back inside.
Oh, Lloyd, you
I can help it.
That does smell a bit.
I can smell it. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It is quite bad.
The raccoon dogs are now exploring their new enclosure where there's plenty of space to roam about. And Polly, the diabetic Chihuahua, was sent on to her owners, who'll keep a close eye on her diabetes.
Hi, Polly.